We in Jamaica, we have a problem, a big problem, and it's an execution or implementation deficit.
We'd like to invite the Honorable Michael Leachin and Mr. Lenworth Fulton to talk to us about what has been happening in agriculture. What are the main things blocking us from being self-sustaining?
So I said to the chairman, the CEO of RADA, Peter Thompson, Peter, tell me, what is the mandate of RADA? He said, really, to make the business of small farming long-term sustainable. So I thought, as soon as he said that, I thought to myself, that's an oxymoron. Sustainability and small farming, that's very difficult. So I saw dissonance when he said that. So I said, tell me, how are you going to do that? So for the next 15 minutes, I was studiously taking notes. At 15 minutes, the end of 15 minutes, I put my hand up and said, excuse me, Peter, I don't understand. The business of agriculture is a commodity business, right, sir? Yes. And to become the lowest cost producer, you have to have scale. And you have to have scale. So therefore, what we should be solving for in agriculture is scale. That's what we should be solving for. So therefore, you aggregating small farmers together, it's a laudable goal, but you're not going to get scale. You're not going to get scale in terms of what you're producing, in terms of getting them access to capital, in terms of getting them more water, etc., etc. We have to solve for one thing, scale. If we want agriculture to be successful in Jamaica, that's the one thing we have to solve for, scale.
The primary issue with agriculture is scale. How do you see it, sir?
Well, I see it as he calls it because our most successful run in agriculture was to have the large estates. And therefore, in order to achieve that, we must now take seriously the whole issue of land reform. How do we plan to use, say, the lands now that are left by sugar? So I am supporting Mr. Leachin on that we must begin with looking on the lands and divided the method into giving small farmers some, of course, you have to give them some land, and what percentage, medium farmer, and what percentage. But you must look on the large farms and to get these lands into monocropping so that you can drive both fresh produce and you can drive export agriculture with using an import substitution model to begin. We are seeing more people eating Otaheite apple now than we're eating citrus. So there is a shift. We have 40 acres of coconut, which is giving you a coconut up to $200 twice or 3 times the cost of a Pepsi. That's not sustainable. So we need to look what expansion we're going to do into these permanent crops using these lands and using them in monocropping and in contiguous farms, and how best will we use these crops to continue to preserve rural development and rural employment. We must defend that aspect of agriculture to keep the people in their villages and to keep them working in their villages and to have the support from large farmers so that we can load containers. Already, you have over 220,000 small farmers producing, and they used to produce when these lands were under sugar and banana. So I don't think land is the problem. What I think, we have been concentrating on surface water and wells. What we need to do is to take irrigation water to the rain harvesting level beyond and above the concept of giving a farmer a black tank with 1,000 gallon or 2,000 gallon. By getting in an institution in Jamaica to develop properly earthen ponds and microdams, so that if I want a pond to sustain 5 acres of my land in Centon or in Manchester, I could call up this company and say, give me a cost to dig a pond, excavate a pond, line the pond, and put a pump on it. Now, that is what we want to give to small farmer, more access to water. will we be
Never have
able to attack food security in a scientific way by doing that? Or would it be better to support the small farmer with some of the land, but leave a good amount of land for large investors to load a container week after week? We need legislation to protect the watershed. We need to protect all the sources of our water that we have. Small farmers produce over 650,000 metric tons of food each year. So they are most valuable and we must protect them.
Mr. Lee-Chin, given where we are now, what are the crucial things that we need to do to build an industry of scale?
I agree 100% that we have to be inclusive of the small farmers. So the only way to bring the small farmers along and not leave them behind is to have the small farmers somehow tag team with the mother farm. First, we have to solve for scale. Let's say we want to get into the production of avocado. What is a scaled avocado farm? What's the size of that? So we look at what a farm in Australia, Ecuador, Brazil, what size? And we plot the graph. We may come across 1,000 acres. We know if we want to have a long-term sustainable avocado farming business in Jamaica, we have to start off with 1,000 acres minimum, or our cost will be too high for export. And we always have to design from the get-go. We need now capital, we need know-how, right? We need work, etc. So we need to get an investor of this to buy 800 acres as an example. And then we have the 200 acres that are left for the small farmers. So we get 10 small farmers, each given a plot of 20 acres. So we now total 800 plus 10 times 20. That's 1,000, right? We have the small farmers now tag teamed with a mother farm.
We need a joint articulated narrative that makes clear how we can have big farmers and small farmers and scale and training and all of this stuff in a way, but it has to be so clearly articulated and repeated and so on, such that we're able to break past this impasse, because that is the impasse that in many ways is in some ways blocking us now.
You used to have Beko, and I was running the third largest banana farm in Jamaica at the time, and we grow and sell through Beko. But Jamaica Producer Group was the major banana growing entity, but Beko buys all the banana and export them, that market left, and that is what is happening. We have the small farmer and the large estate growing sugarcane, and these were purchased together, go to one factory, make the thing called sugar, and they export and pay them. So it's a system that worked already. So I don't think we should get a small-minded approach into the thing by saying it's the big man versus the small man. We are trying now to find a new method where small farmer can work with the larger farmer to find the market and to keep rural Jamaica and rural life active, as it was when cane and banana was there. But markets have changed, and we need to put like a system together to protect everybody and to protect the economy. If you look on housing, it has been propelled by the National Housing Trust. If you look on health, it has been propelled by the National Health Fund. If you look at education, it has been propelled in the technical area by Heart NTA. So I'm putting on the table to squeeze a little out of these cess to build an agricultural fund for things like inland irrigation system. Most of our vegetables are produced by small farmers in the plateau, which there will never be surface water because our geographical construct for our island does not allow that. So you have the crop insurance where you need a fund to push. You have reaping of rainwater, the lining of some gullies that could hold millions of gallons of water. So we need to bring that water source through microdams, earthen ponds, protect our watershed, protect our aquifers, and you need a fund to do it. We can't depend upon the production incentive program coming out of the budget each year. That is too risky and uncertain.